2. It was a thought, being a tennis player, that first came to me when I was months from my 54th birthday and spending what time I could, a few vacation days, wandering the outer courts at the U.S. Open in Flushing, about 5 miles north of Forest Hills, and New York being New York, a world away. I had been a tennis fan for much of my life, but never played. Could I now? And if I started in my mid-50s, could I get good for my age, by the time I was 60? Was this a crisis of late middle age? Was it about my oldest son being ready as I reached my mid-50s to look at colleges, and his brother 2 years behind, and the weekend afternoons already yawning? Did it have something to do with the fact that no matter how engaged and satisfied I was with being the editor of the New York Times Magazine, with having had the good fortune to have done with my professional life what I wanted to do and more, it was almost all behind me now? Decades of editing stretching back to the 1970s and my tenure as editor-in-chief 3 years from being done? Or, and this was very much on my mind by my late 50s, as my editorship of the Times Magazine ended and I began to train seriously with Kirill, and magazines everywhere, especially general interest magazines, seemed to be reeling from the great digital disruption, and a world I had inhabited since my 20s looked to be dying off. Did I need some place or something to belong to? Or, and this was how it was more or less seen by my wife, Barbara, who is 9 years younger than me, who had known me for more than 20 years when I first brought up taking tennis lessons, who was training for a marathon when we began going out, and now swam Olympian laps on the days she was not sweating through Bikram yoga. Was it that I was simply not willing to act my age, not willing, with the onset of young old age at 60, to hover in the anteroom of the aged, to reconcile myself to looming extended monotonies, unpromising everydayness? One of the few inspiring aspects of entering your 60s, for me anyway, now that I've arrived there, is that you find yourself growing more comfortable with an understanding that you don't necessarily understand your motivations, and never have, that you don't much know yourself in that way at all. It doesn't work that way with your body. There's little ambiguity with what's going on there, and next to no comfort in knowing. That time around turning 60 makes you aware of your bodily aging the way your teenage years make you aware, or at least confront you with, what hormones can do. You see it, you sense it, feel it. There's my face, creased and sagging, greeting me each morning in the bathroom mirror. When I head downstairs and make coffee and fetch the Times from my driveway, I turn sooner than I used to the obituary pages, where seldom a week passes where I don't read about someone I'd known. I search out behaviors and diseases in obits that I can convince myself, however fleetingly, won't get me. I also look at the faces of the men in the paid memoriams. You die in your 80s, and your family submits a photo of you taken in your late 50s, early 60s. There's a certain settledness to those faces, a sense that there would be no more becoming. It's who you were. They are faces like mine. My hands are speckled with liver spots and ribbed with raised veins. I have arthritis in most of my finger joints, as my mother had too already in her early 60s. My arches have fallen, and those with flat feet are more prone to injuring their hips and legs when they run. I have osteoarthritis in my left knee, which has led to the creation of bone spurs. The knee detectably aches, always. In my left shoulder, tendinitis has come to stay. I am on close terms with Advil. Some other things you know about your physical self as you enter your 60s. Your lung capacity is in steady decline, as are the fast-twitch muscle fibers that provide power and explosive speed. Your heart is perhaps only 70% as efficient as it was when you were 30. Your prefrontal cortex, where the concentrating and deciding you do gets done, has been shrinking for 40 years. Your sight has been diminishing. Your other senses, too. And this, along with a gradually receding ability to integrate information you are absorbing and to then issue motor commands, means your balance is not what it used to be, especially under pressure and on the move.